It's me, MC of Healthy by George. I come to you every Sunday and Friday because I definitely want to share with you how we can get healthier and stronger as we get older. Please think about subscribing. I'd love to see you here and join me in this conversation of keeping ourselves healthier as we get into our older ages or older age. I don't know. Maybe we don't age all at once. We just age slowly. That's what I hope for. So, today, what I'd like to talk about is the gut microbiome. And I think that what's so fascinating is that this is an area of new discovery for research. We're learning so much about our gut and how really our gut is our second brain, which I think is phenomenal. I don't think we give our gut as much respect as we should and consideration. So I think that's why I really wanted to talk about it because I'm still learning so much about it as well. And microbiome, what does that mean? It means all the little bacterias and creatures that are living in our gut, and that there is this wonderful universe of creatures that helping us to maintain our health because of what the nature of that combination is of bacterias and microbes that are there to help us in our gut, which I think is phenomenal. And it really does play a very big role is what we're learning in our health. And why is that? Our gut microbiome helps us with digestion. It helps us with breaking down complex carbohydrates, fibers, other compounds that our body just really can't digest on its own. It helps us with our immune system and support. A large amount of our immune system is in our gut. Can you believe that? Our immune system is in our gut and that our microbiome, it's regulating our immune responses. That's fascinating to me. So that the gut is helping our immune system reduce the risk of infections and autoimmune diseases, our gut microbiome. That's amazing. And I think we still don't understand the mechanisms of how the gut and our immune system talk to one another. And we're learning more about that in research, which I think is amazing. Our gut plays a role with our mental health. Can you believe that? Because of the gut-brain connection and the gut bacteria and how it produces what we call neurotransmitters, they are like serotonin and they can really influence how our brain functions, our mood, our behavior. It can be related to our gut. Isn't that amazing? I think we still are trying to understand how our gut and our brain communicate with each other. Clearly, they do because our language always says it. When you hear that comment, I had a gut reaction, or it was something I felt in my gut. I think a lot of us are starting to realize that those aren't just sayings, they're actually a physical phenomena. Oh, there's my dog. He loves to always do something while I'm recording. Hey, Mr. Pete. So that's what's so amazing. It's about our gut. It's talking to us. It's talking to us about our feelings. We felt you sometimes when you feel afraid, you feel it in your gut, or you do have these feelings that show up in your gut. I think that's amazing. And we're still looking into how does that happen? How is it communicating so quickly with our brain? Another thing that we're very interested in with the microbiome is this nutrient production. That apparently our gut microbiome can synthesize the essential nutrients we need, such as vitamins, B12, vitamin D, certain fatty acid chains, and other things that help our colon stay healthy. So the microbiome and that kind of universe of bacteria that lives in our gut is so critical for maintaining the nutrients that we need to derive from the foods that we eat is all because of how our gut microbiome interacts with what we put into our body for nutrition. So that's really key. Another thing that the gut does is it helps us keep bacteria that we don't want and make sure that the harmful microbes somehow are gobbled up by the microbiomes that are good for us so that we can prevent infection, we can reduce inflammation. All of those are something that is maintaining a healthy, I think that's why people say prebiotics, probiotics, all of those things that feed, give nutrients to the bacteria that's in our gut that helps us with whatever it is that we need to protect ourselves. Like I said, protection against pathogens, that's really what is so amazing in our gut is that we have bacteria that work with us and they fight against other things that are there that can potentially cause infections or create inflammation in our body. And our wonderful microbiome of bacterias that are very complex, they really help us prevent infection, decrease inflammation. So it's really critical that we do eat things and consume foods that feed our microbiome. We'll talk about that a little later. The other thing that's really amazing about our gut microbiome is the metabolic and weight kind of maintenance that we're learning. We're learning that for people who have a weight problem, that it could be that there's a disruption in their gut microbiome. There have been some very severe cases where they have taken and transplanted people's poop, their bowels, poop, into another person, and that microbiome has manifested into their gut and has caused them to have a better gut microbiome. So clearly we need to understand more about what does make up our gut microbiome. And apparently it's something very person specific. I think we still have a lot to understand about how our gut microbiome metabolizes food and how we store fat and influences how we hold on to fat or we use that energy that we eat from our food. And we have, when our gut microbiome is disrupted, I think that's what really gives us a higher risk of metabolic diseases like diabetes, like the PCOS that I have. I know that something is not working in my body, and it's been that way for a very long time. And being on a GLP-1 drug has really turned the corner for me. And I am paying attention to what my gut is getting for my nutrition, eating more whole foods, eating less processed foods, and reducing the amount of sugar. The sugar is a killer. It's really critical that we do things that help our microbiome. So what is that? And I think that's something that we still need to figure out, but the most of the evidence shows that by following a Mediterranean type diet that is high in fiber, rich foods such as nuts, seeds, whole grains, legumes, vegetables, fruits, anything that has high fiber content. Those are the things that help our gut. I think also, too, fermented foods. That I think is what's really amazing in my family. Drinking yogurt or eating what we call labin, the really strained yogurt that becomes almost like a cream cheese consistency, but it's made from yogurt. And eating things such as that would be kefir. Kefir is the liquid yogurt drink. And also sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, kombucha, all of these things that contain live probiotics that feed our gut and help us support our gut health. Now, granted, I'm not a crazy person who likes a lot of fermented foods, but I do like yogurts and kefir. Not much on kombucha. It's very strange. I like miso a lot. I'm not crazy about kimchi or sauerkraut. But I think there are ways that we can look more closely at fermented foods and see what else we can include in our diet. Other things, limiting the processed foods. I think that's really something that all of us have to take a look at. Processed foods are everywhere. I'm going to tell you. I feel like there's not one single thing that I look at that's not a processed food. I love Ezekiel cereals. Okay, that's a processed food. Okay, I love these Yasso yogurt ice cream sandwiches. That's a processed food. And I know that those things are probably not something that constitutes a large part of my diet, but definitely it's something that I am consuming, and yet I need to really rethink how I can shift my taste buds to something different for a sweet treat because that's really where I struggle. I want to have something that is a little bit sweet after dinner. I'm a crazy person for donuts and ice cream, which I've totally reduced a lot, but I still, every now and then, I just want to have a little bit of ice cream or I want to eat a glazed donut. And I am working on it, but it's not simple. And I think that's really what for all of us, because everywhere we go, everywhere, you see nothing but processed foods, packaged foods. They're so quick, they're easy, you can grab and go. And it's not something that we need to really be including in our diet. And these drinks, oh my God, the drinks that have the high sugar in them is just devastating. I just it blows my mind how much sugar is in some of these drinks that are promoted at either Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts and I think if you are struggling, like with me, you can consider taking a probiotic supplement. So looking at some type of a probiotic can help you restore your gut by microbiome balance. Typically, instead of using a food source for probiotics, I think there are some things over the counter that you can look at. I think physical activity is always going to help our gut. I learned when I had a hernia in my belly button and there was an obstruction, man, that was something else. Your body's gut is moving all the time. Your stomach and your bowels and everything, they're moving. There's always this rhythm. It's like an internal rhythm that's always happening. And that's what is so amazing. So when you exercise and when you rest, all of those things are contributing to the health of your gut and the microbiome there. So it's important to get physically active. It's important to eat healthily. It's important to get enough rest and manage your stress because I know when I went through a really stressful time with work, it affected my gut. I was eating, oh my gosh, I was eating all kinds of antacids all the time because my gut was constantly churning from, guess what? Anxiety and stress. That gut brain axis combination, it's real. So my friends, let's take care of our gut. Let's eat less sugar. Let's move more. Let's eat more foods that have fiber and less fat. And let's be more conscientious about how we really nurture our bodies because it's our only body that we have. And we want it to last as long as we possibly can into our old age. And we want it functioning in our mind and our body into our much older age of 80 and 90 years old. Let's keep ourselves moving. Let's keep ourselves vibrant. That's my goal, frankly. That's why I come here every Sunday and Friday to talk about these things and bring certain issues to light that I'm thinking about. I hope you're thinking about them too. So join me here and think of subscribing. I'd love to see you here every Sunday and Friday. Be well, my friends. You have this one precious life. Let's live it to the fullest as we get older. Bye-bye.
So thank you so much for joining me at Healthy by George. I hope you found the information inspiring and that it encourages you on your wellness journey. Because remember, your body, your well-being are a most precious gift, and every tiny action taken daily can make a huge difference. I hope the information here is educational purposes and is not meant to replace your medical care. See your doctor and talk about what works for you. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me continuing creating content that inspires and empowers you to live your best life. Goodbye for now, and join me again at the next Healthy by George.